The Discovery of a Lifetime by Noah Rogers and Zach Allen.
Many people have different opinions and misconceptions about the function of dopamine and how it affects addiction.
Without eating, I might starve.
Dopamine is a complex thing.
My name's Noah, and I'm here to say dopamine should stay in my brain. There's no soap, I might as well be the Pope. Yeah, I want to reward my system,
Anyone
and
who
now that I
struggles
might
to
stop
overcome
eating.
addiction,
My make
but has tried to
HDU.
help someone else to do so understands why feel roaring alcohol.
To quote Slate.com, dopamine is love, dopamine is lust, dopamine is adultery, dopamine is motivation, dopamine is attention, dopamine is feminism, dopamine is addiction. My dopamine's been busy.
But what does dopamine really do? Dopamine, contrary to popular belief, is not strictly what makes you feel good when you eat food or have sex. It is a chemical produced in the brain and kidneys that triggers the release of various natural opioids in the brain. These opioids are what is directly responsible for this positive feeling we associate with said activities. Dopamine is also responsible for aspects of motor activity, much like serotonin. The role of dopamine in terms of rewards is to act as a sort of a psychological bookmark, to be produced and say, when the body does this certain thing, produce opioids to make the body feel good. If you claim in a snarky tone that you are not addicted to black tar heroin, but to dopamine, then you're missing the point by a mile. The reason we become addicted to things as different as cupcakes, gambling, sex, and hard drugs lies in the fact that we expect our brain to trigger this opioid response every time we perform the action, all thanks to dopamine. When dopamine can no longer be produced due to overstimulation, the victim needs more and more to satisfy their addiction and can experience withdrawals if the psychological and physical need is not met. While the feeling we enjoy during these sorts of activities is attributable to the natural opioids our brain releases as a result of dopamine release, dopamine itself is, although not the source of enjoyment, an important middleman. But in the outside world, misconceptions about dopamine abound.
Wow, I'm a stupid person. Dopamine makes you do drugs. XD. I bet cocaine makes you do dopamine. Exclamation. Kris Kringle jingle jingle. Dopamine mingle makes my fingers tingle. Dopamine makes me feel so stellar. Without dopamine, you wouldn't know how to breathe and stuff. I named my dog Dopamine because he got me addicted to starting space goo. Dopamine is so addictive that I can't stand up. I wonder if God likes dopamine. I wonder if it's physically impossible to have sex. According to healthguide.org, nearly 23 million Americans, almost 1 in 10, are addicted to alcohol or other drugs. More than 2/3 of people with addiction abuse alcohol. The top 3 drugs causing addiction are marijuana, opioids, pain relievers, and cocaine. All of these addictions and many more are caused by dopamine neurons in our brain's natural opioids working in conjunction in an attempt to steer us towards positive behavior. That's kind of dope.
While dopamine often gets a bad rap in the media due to its role in addiction, its main function within the human body is to reward you for doing quote-unquote good things, such as eating and reproducing, things that will help the species and you stay alive. However, when you abuse your reward system by doing drugs and things that are bad for you, but fool your reward system into thinking that they are good by releasing dopamine when dopamine should not be released, you get addicted to nasty things. And there's our sources.